Hello? We live. We live. We live right now. It is May 9th, Thursday, 5:30. We're doing pretty good. I'm doing good. I hope you're doing well. And we woke up extra crispy early because the dog wouldn't leave me alone. Yeah, she kind of does what she wants to. Oh, that dog. A couple weeks ago, I took her to the vet because I saw something on her, and it was a it was a lump. And I was like, whenever you feel or see or hear about lumps, you think the big C, right? So it was already expensive because earlier in the week or the week before, my wife took her in with the small dog, and she already spent like $700. So when I went in with her and told her to check that thing out, I think that bill ended up costing me like $400. They cleaned their ears for like $80, which I could have done, or my wife could have done. And a couple days later, they just told us it was just a fat tissue or something like. She's pretty heavy. She's like a tube. But when she gets like really crunk and diligent and agile, she looks like a beast. Sweetest dog ever. So it was nothing. So I still love on that dog. That's my dog. If you go to my website, hey Adif, if you go to my website and you look at that First Love dark roast, that's of her when she was younger. I think the reason why I named it First Love is because not so much of my first love, well, sorta. It's I was her first love, still her first love. She's my dog. We do everything together. We play, we cuddle, we understand each other. She's off the leash a lot of times. And yeah, so I was her first love. But truthfully, she's my first love too. I always thought like dog people were crazy people. Like they just needed to do things in their lives and move on and not worry about a dog so much. But she is the first dog that I truly understood, get, like we're one together. And I truly understand now why people are dog people, because doggies are great, especially when you have a dog that just really understands you. It's quite it's quite cool. It's really cool. So we are each other's first love. We get some water. So yeah, so she woke me up even earlier than I needed to be up. So I got my workout in, did my thing, and now I'm doing even more. So sometimes I think, because I do have a topic today, and I think how I'm gonna go about it. Thinking about the hook, how you're gonna get you in, and keep you here. Hopefully, you don't last only 30 minutes, and you just click off. you know, if you do, you do. You don't, you don't. I think I'm trying to give value in a in my way, but these podcasts are a little different. They're more personal, I would say, not so much rehearsed. Don't get me wrong. I try to do what I can when I do my YouTube videos and all that good stuff, but these are a little bit. These are just. I'm just talking. I'm just talking more so to me. But now that I do these more and more and more, I'm talking to you because I do hope that you do get something behind it and all that good stuff, right? I go back and forth. Either should I do a more polished podcast with the intro and music playing in between, changing up the scenes and all that good stuff. I may do that when I get my my thing. You know what I'm talking about. The roadcaster. That thing is a beast. But that's gonna be probably closer more towards the end of the year because I got what I got. I'm doing pretty good, and I don't have a feel or need to burge to get it right now. I got enough things right now on my list, right? Or just keep doing what I'm doing, like a Bill Burr style, like just raw, just straight up talk for whatever, however long, and then you bounce. I do like that. It's just, I think if I try to do more than what I'm doing right now with the podcast, it'll take longer. I may have to move it to once a week. And that's not cool. It's one of those things now that I'm trying to decrease the amount of friction in my life, not just in business, not just in work stuff, just in everything. And friction is the enemy. Friction takes the joy out of things. And since there's not that much help, at least right now, that's kind of like what I have to think about and do. Become as efficient and lean as possible. For instance, I am starting to put blog posts on my website, and it took a long time for me to get there. I used to write quite a bit, but now that I do have a decent way of producing them and being satisfied with them, now I'm putting it on my website. And now, soon, well, probably later today, my podcast will be on YouTube. This podcast will be on YouTube. And that's pretty cool. I went back and forth if I was going to do that or not. But I said, fuck it. Just do it. Just make it as seamless as possible. So the next thing I'm going to do once I get it up there is start to get it up there too for on my website, because the podcasts are on the website, but it's more labor involved into it. It's more things that I have to do in order to get it up there. And I like to usually batch do it because it's a lot of work to just do one at a time. And once you get one in there, it's a lot easier just to do it when you do a batch of them. But that's neither here and there. So coffee wise, let's talk about coffee. We're not going to talk about Amazon. Amazon is what it is, but I did get some more work from my spokesperson. So something is probably going to be happening soon. I went ahead and did what she needed me to do. And I'm not going to check it. I'm just going to move on and do my thing. I'm going to continue to make YouTube videos, try to figure out a system, and then work the system. I already figured it out, but it's just a lot of work. Just so contemplating doing this or that or whatever, So it's just things to do and understand, edit. But yeah, so yeah, I think I got a couple of topics. So here's the thing. I've noticed quite a bit with this whole coffee thing is that sometimes you know something, sometimes you don't. And that's kind of more so the situation I'm dealing with right now. I finished a video and now coming back on here, kind of backtracking, taking things away, sort of. Here's the situation. Coffee can taste good 5 weeks off roast. I did it. I truly did it. And the thing about it, what's up? Huh? Yeah, I'm recording. Yeah, I tasted it. I tasted the fruitiness of coffee. This Colombian high-end coffee. And the only way I can really taste it after 5 weeks off roast was to be more concentrated. I think when I did it before, it was a 15-1. And then when I made it again for the car ride the next day or the day after, it was a 10-1. It was punchy. It was lively. It was delicious. I don't know what I'm saying right now. Here's the thing about this. Coffee is a tricky little bastard. One minute you think you have it figured out, and the next minute you're just like confused of like why it worked this way by changing even just one variable. Same water temp, same all that good stuff, right? It's just coffee's tricky. So if I had to come to a conclusion, and if I was put on the stand of giving my truth to the matter, coffee can be tasty, at least in this case. If you make it just more concentrate, make the coffee more stronger, and it's going to be tasty. So don't have the same recipe. Have a different recipe. Dose it a little bit more. Go from there, because if you do, then it's going to be some really good stuff. I'm going to play around with that a little bit more as I get older coffee and as it loses a little bit of its punchiness, because the punchiness was gone. But you got to treat it differently. You can't think things are the same, especially when it's degassing and doing its own thing and finally neutralize, and then it start losing its spunk. Hey, Logan, come on. What's going on?
I want to tell you that PTO money is real money. It's not digital.
What?
I just want to tell you that the money from a PTO store is real, not digital.
Here, come on.
It can also be in coins.
Okay, we'll see.
Okay.
We'll make it work. Okay, but you gotta do your job. I'm gonna fire you. Okay, I'm gonna start picking up shit again. Okay. All right. And then you won't be able to get no money.
Do it first thing when I get home.
You gonna do it today? You gonna do it right now?
You throw my.
I'll help you.
Not right now.
Yeah. When it get light, okay.
You know my schedule for now since that's my class.
I mean, your schedule is to play video games.
For proofs with my.
Okay.
Tuesday, Thursday,
Hey.
Sunday.
You guys work it out, okay?
Thursday and Sunday.
You guys work it out, okay? Yeah. He's a cool kid. He's just crazy. So all kids are crazy. So yeah, coffee can taste good. 5 weeks off roast. You can't treat it the same. You really can't. In this case, which I'm thinking it's more like this all the time, it's just more now that I'm just more aware about it. That's the thing about this. It's being more aware. Again, I talked about this. I'm documenting not my life, but my experiments and the ways that I go about doing things that's part of my livelihood, right? So you don't want to give people false hopes, false things in their mind. So it's very key and important that you want to give people information that they can really take to the bank, that they can really trust you with. And that's the thing that I'm really trying to understand and get to. So, sorry to interrupt, but coffee is a tricky motherfucker. It really is. One minute you think you have it figured out, and then the next minute it just whips you right in the face. Just kind of like what it did to me just now. It did taste dull at 15-1, no matter which brewer that I use. But that 10-1 ratio, that same temperature, produced some lively, punchy coffee that I'll go back to and back to and back to. However, we're still missing the sweetness. We still got to figure out where is that sweetness? How do we incorporate sweetness in this coffee? And I go back and forth. Or is it the coffee itself that's just naturally sweet? And you just have to like find it or roast it right? Is it in a roast or is it in a brew? That's the thing that's just driving me crazy about this challenge. And I know I'm going to figure it out. And I do hope that we figure it out together. So that's my interruption, right? Let's get back to the show. So yeah, that's what we gonna do. Guess what I tasted yesterday? I was sitting on the couch. I had a bag of blackberries, and right now blackberries are tasting so good. And I got about, well, at the time, yesterday speaking, I had about 10, 12 cartons of blackberries. They're like $1.50. They're really cheap right now. A lot cheaper than blueberries, and blueberries are taste like water, taste like nothing. Tastes like crap. And I was sitting there and I was eating this blueberry. And then I was like, wait, what is this? I thought I tasted some grapefruit. And then it paused and it hit me. And I was like, it's the thing that you're talking about. A lot of times you limit your palate because you think you're tasting what you're tasting. But in this case, even though it did taste like grapefruit type of acidity or bitterness, it was not. It was a blackberry. That's how blackberries taste from time to time. And it blew my mind. It gave me another dimensions of flavors. And this is what I'm talking about. I actually went ahead and looked at some of the podcasts, some of them a little bit more controversial than others, if I have to say. And one of them was about coffee roasters or full of shit or don't know anything, whatnot, right? And the reason why I said that is because it's true, because a lot of times, especially when we put things on the bag, you put toasted walnuts and marshmallows and all that crap, and that's not really true. I mean, yes, it has those elements from time to time, but I think it's extremely hard to decipher what you're really tasting, especially when you're tasting it very cold. And the majority of your audience is not tasting it cold. They're not. They're tasting it either 150 degrees and probably slightly lower than that. Some people are tasting it cold, but that's not the case for the majority of people. And then you have additives and all that good stuff into it. So I think I'm saying that because coffee is still a fruit, right? And it's interesting a lot of times because when we do describe things, let's just say I come to you and I do describe a fruit. I mean, a piece of bread to you, just the bread itself. Would you get a lot of fruit flavors out of it? Let's just say a plain Jane type of bread. No, you would not, right? I'm not just saying that, but you would not. How come we don't do this crazy dance with fruit itself? Like an apple, we just say, oh, that tastes like an apple. Yes, the degrees of sweetness and acidity and all that good stuff and the softness of that, all that stuff is layers to it, right? But we don't do that with anything else but, I guess, coffee and wine, right? And that's the service. Again, I'm not saying coffee are not all those things that people say they are. I'm just saying, let's just be real about it. It's a fucking fruit. It's a fruit, you know? And there's degrees and elements to it, right? And the thing about coffee to me, it's very hard to really be on it 24/7. You got different brew ratios. I was just talking about this whole, like how the coffee really did come alive because I did a 1 to 10 ratio instead of the 1 to 15 ratio. And then different brewing methods. Talking about espresso. Same thing. It's just different. You get different things out of it. And if you brew it a certain way, if you have a different temperature, you have a lower degree of temperature. I mean, it's mind boggling how many things affect what you really taste. And I think that's the thing that I'm having an issue with. And it's not going to be figured out because it's just not. and it's something that just pisses me off when we can go down these tangent holes like I'm doing right now. And we could just say this is what it is. And I think that's the biggest problem I have with all of this. I have the problem with being a matter of fact type of thing. Like, this is the truth. This is the law. This is what this is because I brewed it this way. Again, as soon as that coffee leaves your hand, it's not your coffee anymore. I was talking to one of my clients before a couple of weeks ago, and I answered some of her questions online, and we went back and forth after that. She told me that what she usually does is that she makes it with oat milk or hemp milk or something like that. I didn't know that. Probably if I knew that, I would probably go about roasting it differently, right? To bring more out of what the pairing is in that particular coffee, in that drink, right? Probably. I don't know. But again, it doesn't really matter what I think and feel because people are going to do what they want to do. It's life. That's the thing that people don't understand. It's just life. So I think the biggest takeaway that I'm trying to understand and get to you is that you just try to produce the best product that you can when you can and all that good stuff. And when you do that, that's all you can give people. And you can move on, you can do more things, you can understand what you're trying to do and all that good stuff. And then you can just keep going and keep moving and doing your thing. I guess, right? I don't know what I'm talking about. Sometimes I just think that I'm just on an island just talking to nobody. And at times, it's interesting. Once you put yourself out there, again, I talked about this before. I'm a loner. I do my own thing. I like to explore and have fun and do the things that I got to do, right? But when you put yourself out there, I think that's the problem. That's the problem. It's my problem. Since I am putting myself out there, I'm like demanding people to respond, to give me critiques and advice. And what if people don't want to do that? Probably they're just cool to listen and probably take the information that you give them. Probably so. Probably people just want to see what you do. So even if you do put yourself out there like I am, there's no real rhyme or reason or demand or obligation for somebody to do something that you want them to do. That's the thing that I'm starting to really understand. I know as I keep doing this, people will naturally start to come to me and to ask me questions and to wonder and be there and challenge my notion and my thoughts and my beliefs, right? But the majority of the people, they won't. They won't do that. And I have to be okay with that. because that's just the nature of things, right? So, yeah, that's what it is. That's the thing that's going to say a lot in what I'm trying to do. And I think once that happens and goes about and things are figured out, I'm going to be in a better place because ultimately it's all about helping others, getting people to the right place, and then also me learning and growing and doing my thing. And hopefully somebody will get something out of this and I can keep doing what I'm doing. That's why we do what we do, right? I think we're just trying to pass time. Is that what we're doing? As much as we try to understand more and more what we're trying to do and have these goals and ambitions and missions and visions and all this stuff, and we are that serious about our grind and our day to day, and me telling my kid I'll fire them because they won't pick up poop, but I suck at picking up poop too, especially when the wife says it. Are we just trying to pass time? That's some of the things I think about quite a bit, you know? And yeah. I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, I think I have one more thing to talk about, and then we're gonna end this and do some stuff today to help pass more time. Okay, talked about blackberries, coffee 10 to 1. Oh, this is a good one. This one may push me over the edge. Okay, if you guys don't know, I'm a person of many talents or wasted timers and all that good stuff. So I garden, I write. I don't read much. If I do, it's an audiobook or somebody's article online that's kind of interesting. Don't read the New Yorker. The New Yorker articles are crazy intense, and they are so. Those people who write those articles are just crazy people. Uh, I roast coffee, as you can tell. I brew coffee, everything coffee. Uh, and I smoke meat. I work out every day. There's a lot of things I do, but I smoke meat. And last year I got my offset and all that good stuff. And it's been great. It's still a learning curve and all that good stuff, but I'm getting the hang of fire management. Fire management is everything. And then already understanding quite a bit about coffee. I mean, not coffee, but meats and fire and how that really works and what that looks like and how does that do to manipulate the meat and all that good stuff. So I'm sure you're familiar or aware that I did a YouTube video just now that's up live for about 4 days right now. Is about cold brew. Truthfully, I don't drink cold brew much. I really don't. I probably drink cold brew during the experiment, but before that, it was about years. I tried to force myself to love cold brew, and I tried to do so many different things to really try to enjoy cold brew. And I tried it so many different ways and all that stuff, and I just came to the conclusion I just don't like it. Oh, I did do that other one where I did cold brew and then warmed it up, and that helped out in that coffee, which is rare that things like that work out. But I did that experiment because I was desperate because I didn't really know how to figure that out, you know? Okay. But okay, let's get back to the topic because I ramble and ramble and ramble. And so this past week, I saw a YouTube video by somebody. His name doesn't matter. He's a good guy. Most people are good guys, and we're just trying to share information. And he gave a recipe out. and I followed it to a T. And you'll see a video if you watch the YouTube stuff in the next couple of days of me posting about like what did I say? Recipes or guides over recipes. And it's funny because I followed a recipe. I mean, now that I have the recipe, I can go about it differently. I can add different things and all that good stuff. And I think that's to the point that I'm trying to make here is that I think you can learn a lot from somebody who gives you something from their point of view, what they think is great. See, when I followed the recipe and did it and everything and tasted it, I'm not saying it was lackluster, but the saltiness of the sausage was a lot less than what I anticipated it would be. It's there, but it's more subtle. It's not overpowering. And then it got me thinking, not so much about the recipe or even being pissed at this guy because I wish it was more salty. It gave me a new perspective of who this person is, what they're about, what do they care about, how do they want to present their flavors? Do they care more about the technique or a degree of balance of flavors when you bite into the sausage? What is it? So then I start thinking about the way I gave out recipes and how I went about it and contemplated and thought about it. And writing recipes is no joke. Think about it. It's not easy because at times we think that we're making this recipe for ourselves. And we are. But I think truly, if I had to be objective in this situation, especially from a rookie who's starting to make recipes, and of course, I make coffee every day, so I have my own way of going about things. I stay on that 10-1, sometimes 15-1, but 10-1 is where it's at, right? Is that my palate is a lot more forgiving than other people's palate, if I had to say. Not the majority, but a good bit of them. So a lot of times when I try to make recipes, I don't make it so much from my point of view. You have to look at it from other people's point of view. And I think that's where a recipe either gets dumbed down or diluted, so to speak, that can fit a little bit more people. But truly, I still wonder, it's like, okay, what is this saying about this person? What is it saying about their style? What is it saying about the way they go about living their life? I think that's the thing that it's getting me. It's just challenging me. And it's getting me into a direction in a way to where I want to learn more about that person. I don't care about the recipe. The recipe's done. I'm going to doctor it. I'm going to add a little bit more salt, right? Just to fit my palate a little bit more than what it was before. It's still tasty, but I just wanted more, right? But I want to know more about that person. I want to know how that person truly, really ticks and what they think about flavors and pairings and salt levels and spices and all that stuff. I do want to know that, but I want to know how that relates to them in their life. Because that's all it is. we are who we are because of the things that we do. And there's little things in the world that we go through that we give out to people that people don't really even realize that we're giving a little piece of ourselves. And a lot of times that's in the recipe. That's in the way that we think. That's something that's very powering. And you got to understand that that's really the essence of life to me, that I'm trying to really understand. And as I give out these recipes and try to understand more about the audience and what you're trying to do, I think the biggest takeaway is like, wow, what is this saying about this person? I don't know. And that'll be a great conversation to have with anybody, not just this person, but with anybody. Like, really ask them, why did you do this? I really understand why you went about this way. Is it just because that's just the way you like it? Is there things that you've done in your life to where this just works for you? That's what I want to know. That's what I really want to truly understand, right? So we'll get there. I think so. So recipes. It's more than just a recipe. It's a way to where you can get into somebody's soul. You can kind of understand them to an extent. Then again, I may be too wishy-washy with this, and maybe it's just a fucking recipe that you can use for your day-to-day life. And you could keep it pushing and do something else in your life. It could be that too. I cursed enough in this video, so I think I'm done. Another long, but also hopefully an impactful video or listen through. So talk to you later. Bye.